Hey guys, my name is Jonathan. Today I'll be talking to you about understanding digital marketing, right? So I'm just going to go through the basics of digital marketing and basically the structure of how digital marketing is, the processes and different things concerning the system that you will need to run if you were to be running your online business, right? This video is going to be entirely beginner's guide for people who don't really understand and really trying to understand the entire ecosystem of how all the moving parts actually work together and how you can really utilize them to drive traffic, a lot of traffic to your website. All right. So traditionally, advertising came from radio, TV, and newspapers, right? So things where you can just advertise on. You just put your stuff out there, and generally that's what people call advertising or marketing. But nowadays, digital marketing is a completely new game. There are many different moving parts, different platforms that you can utilize. I guess it's the same as the traditional advertising, but most importantly, what you need to understand is the ability to drive traffic to whatever you're selling, right? So every form of advertising you need to do should be purposeful. Everybody has a limited marketing budget, so everything needs to be purposeful and it needs to have direction. You need to have a purpose to reason why you're using certain platforms and why you're not using certain platforms, similar to traditional advertising. And the aim of the game is to basically drive traffic, to have more eyeballs on what you want to sell, be it a product page, be it a blog, etc., etc. All right, so just think of Google, Yahoo, Bing, these search engines, social networks, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Reddit, etc., etc. These are just tools, right? These are tools, platforms that you can use to really expand your brand. And the great thing about it is that you can establish your presence on it, right? It's kind of different from TV or radio, where if you just keep running that ad, you may not be able to establish your presence on that platform, right? Whereas a social network, you have your fans, you have your people who like your page, stuff like that. So we're just going to go into these different things such that you're able to understand all the moving parts, basically. All right, so the reality of it is that people believe everything is online now, right? So reality shapes everyone's perception. Anything online is considered credible in a sense. All right. So I live in Singapore, and this is just a picture of an MRT, which is basically a public transport train, and it just goes to show that everyone on the train is on their phones. So reality is really online. People live, as you can see in the caption below, people live, hang out, socialize in the online world and not really in the online world. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, it's a story for another day, but that's just basically it. All right, so understanding that, we also need to understand where digital marketing is going right now. So basically from simple photo advertising, nowadays the world or the direction that digital marketing is moving in is basically moving to a more video-centric and mobile world. So everything will be mobile optimized, having your AMPs, which is basically your accelerated mobile pages, as well as having ads that are generally all video-based now because they are more engaging, they have higher click-through rates, they're basically higher converting platforms. They're higher converting ad copies. All right, as opposed to just having a photo ad or just having a text ad. So that's just the reality of the situation. For in a world where there's so much noise, to be able to capture someone's attention, you definitely need video in your advertising. All right. Not only that, Facebook, this is the fact, like the cost of advertising using a video is lower than photos nowadays. That's because Facebook wants to transition more to Facebook, YouTube. They're like competing, so they want to transition to a more video type of platform to compete on YouTube. That's why they are incentivizing people to advertising more on video. All right, so I'm just going to go through a few things on why, if you're running a local business right now, why you would definitely need digital marketing. And these are just a lot of points that I'm going to list down, but I'm just going to be very brief because I'm expecting this presentation to be long. So number one would be digital marketing is important because it's being present in people's lives. If people keep seeing you around the net, it's basically showing them that you have influence in the world and that you kind of have a presence in the world. So they kind of regard you as legitimate and credible in a sense. Second thing would be you're able to customize and adjust your budget and spending over time, anytime, which is basically a very important thing because you have 100% control of your spending, your campaigns, your budgets, and you're very well aware of your costs involved in advertising, as opposed to traditional advertising where you're in the newspapers, you put out an ad, but you don't really know when to scale back. You can't really say, oh, I don't want it to be printed this day, I don't want it to be printed that day. That's 100% control in digital advertising, and that is something very powerful. The third thing would be you're able to measure how effective your ad is. So it's very good because digital advertising is purely data driven, right? So if you put out an ad, for example, at 12 a.m. tomorrow, by the time 24 hours later, you're able to get results, you're able to see the statistics. It's all about numbers in this game, and you're able to see the feedback and response that your ad gets, so that you're able to really justify and move, change your ad copy if it doesn't work, or maybe scale up to improve on that, to spend more on that ad if it's working really well. So it's something that you can control very, very effectively, and it's really good because you can optimize your spending very well. Which is my fourth point. You're able to optimize your spending based on instant data feedback. It's data driven and it's very, very controlled, so it's really good. Number 5 would be, it's a low barrier of entry right now. So the cost of advertising is still relatively low. Anyone can go in at any time, and you can spend as little as even like $2 to $5 on an ad, just to test whether to see a product market fits. All right. The next one will be low cost, which is basically everybody has a cell phone now, and you can advertise with anything. All right. So you can just have a photo that you just literally take from your cell phone, a video that you take from your cell phone. So there's still a very, very low barrier to entry for advertising, right? Next point would be able to test your product market fit instantly. So as previously stated, you can just put out, for example, a $5 ad, post engagement ad, for example. You put it out there, you wait for 24 hours, you see how the results fare, and if it's not too good, you can just remove it, right? You can instantly test your audiences, different audiences with your product. And this is really good because it just means it gives you the flexibility and the budget to really find the product fit that you have. All right, the next one would be data collection and being able to retarget warm traffic. This is important because traditional advertising does not allow you to collect data. So if you put out a newspaper, for example, you don't really know how effective your ad is. For example, but digital marketing would be you putting out ad, you're getting data instantly, and you're able to retarget those the people that you have already seen before. So this is really, very important because in traditional advertising, this has never been done before. And retargeting, in a sense, is that you have already collected this data of the customers that you've already advertised to, such that you're already converting cold traffic to warm traffic, right? So you're increasing the conversion rate on possibly retargeting back to warm traffic. All right, so that's the power of digital marketing. The next one will be you're able to reach greater audiences and scale your businesses infinitely. Why I say infinitely is because anybody with an internet connection basically can be sold to, right? Anybody who's using a social media platform, anybody who's using Google, Baidu, VK, any type of platform, you're able to advertise to them, right? And as many people know about your brand, you're able to sell more, and it's basically infinite scale. Next one will be there are many different platforms to use. So you don't have to be confined to a certain big publications, for example. You don't have to be confined to certain avenues that you have to use, such as one channel on TV, for example, right? Anywhere in the world you can advertise to, as long as there's a website. Maybe there's Google AdSense involved, the Google Display Network. There's literally everywhere in the world, anyone you can advertise to. The last one will be your competition is currently doing digital marketing right now, so you better not get left behind in the game. All right, so I'm just going to go through social advertising platforms. Examples would be Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, VK, WeChat, Reddit, YouTube, Tumblr, Flickr, Periscope, Snapchat. If you're not familiar with any one of these, it's currently fine. You just need to know where your customer is, and I've done another video on it, so you can check it out on my channel as well. All right, the next one would be search type of platforms where you can advertise on. Would be Quora forums, Google search, shopping, display, Bing ads, Yahoo, the Gemini network, as well as Baidu. So these are primarily search engines. All right, so we're going to be comparing organic versus paid traffic. So organic, you definitely have slower data collection, so it will mean slower data optimization, but you could possibly see better conversion rates and results on the type of organic traffic that you are gathering, because usually organic traffic is gathered from search-based platforms. So generally people already have user intent in searching for your terms in your types of products. So maybe this is a general statement, but you could see better results with organic traffic. All right, this is opposed to paid traffic, where it's immediate. You put out some money, you're forced, the consumer is forced to see your product, they're forced to see whatever you're advertising that day. And so this is faster data collection and faster data optimization, which means also better conversion rates faster, right? So if you have some sort of budget, or even if you have a small budget, you should try paid advertising at first, because it's fast, right? It's quick to establish your online presence. All right, so for example, if you're approaching an agency, these are the type of services that digital marketing will provide, and this is a whole spectrum of services that will really cater to your business no matter what. So different services have different pros and cons. I won't go into it now, but generally for any online business, you're using the full stack. Right, so you're using everything here used to build your business. However, for businesses that are already currently running, there may be certain things that you may use. You may not need to use all of them. So social media marketing, search PPC, search engine optimization, SEO, content marketing, content creation. So it's through the written word and the spoken word. So photography, videography. I forgot to put podcasts in there. Writers as well, writers for articles, blogs, etc. There's email marketing as well as marketing funnel building. So the company may build your entire purchase funnel for you, basically. All right, so these are the type of services. So how do you actually get paid traffic, right? You run it through social media marketing, and there's as well search pay-per-click, which is basically the search engine advertising platforms. All right, next one would be how to get organic traffic. All right, so organic traffic is basically done by two ways. It's basically by search engine optimization, which is basically optimizing your website. Optimizing your website for keywords that people may search and search terms, such that you may increase your visibility on site, such that you may increase your visibility on search engines. All right, so how do you get organic traffic, right? Through these means, you'll be posting on your social media platforms, as well as you'll be posting high quality content on your website, such that people will be searching for this content and maybe come across your content as well, and perhaps come to a purchase eventually. All right, so what type of content marketing types are there, right? So as I stated previously, organic traffic, content marketing. But what type of content marketing can people do? You can write blogs. Number one, you can do videos, you can do photos, you can do infographics. You know, for example, you're selling dental removal surgery, something like that, right? There'll be infographic of explaining why dental surgery removal is important, why the statistics on that, basically things that will educate your audience on what it is or what the product is. That's also podcast. All right, so the purpose of content marketing is generally to create these marketing silos, right? These silos are basically entire structures of knowledge, content surrounding a particular niche. And everything in this silo is basically to enhance the user experience, and it's basically to educate, to inform, or to entertain. It can be and or to do these things such that the consumer is having less doubt all the way to the purchase cycle. So people generally don't purchase something because they're doubtful or they're fierce or it's basically a budget thing. So all of these content is basically aimed to educate, inform, and entertain the customer, such as to reduce the maximum amount of doubt, such that at the end there'll be no doubts left, and he or she will basically move on to the purchase stage. So that's basically content marketing. So I'll just give you a case study here. I just was searching random like blogs, like travel blogs, right? So I came across this Nomadic Matt. So this will be an example of content marketing, right? So I'm guessing Nomadic Matt, just by seeing his website, he kind of sells ebooks as well as sponsorships for travel, hotels, that kind of thing. Those type of travel blogs that reviews hotels, reviews restaurants. He's in that type of niche, right? So the content marketing that he does, for example, as you can see here, blogs on the left hand side, Watermost glowworm caves, right? So that's a blog. Then he also does videos, as you can see on the right hand side, traveling the world and making money with Nomadic Matt. So that's another form of video content. And at the bottom, as you can see, he also does his Facebook page where he updates his social media platforms, right? So for people who are like, for example, if I was a traveler and I wanted to search, where do I go to find worm caves, for example, right? Then I'll stumble across Nomadic Matt. And through like finding him and seeing him as a personality, I'll generally reduce my step to a conversion, which is basically maybe purchasing one of his ebooks because I'm interested to visit one of his worm caves, and he has an ebook on how to explore worm caves, something like that. So coming across content that is surrounding the niche, Nomadic Matt is basically a really good case study where he utilizes many different platforms. So he does videos, he does blogs, and he does social platforms as well, where he utilizes all of these structures, right, such that he's able to generate content from it, and as well as drive traffic to this content, such that eventually people know him and also may be able to purchase from him. Hey there, the video's too long, so just click on the screen right now for part 2 of my digital marketing guide. See you there.